The point here is Luke promised me the wedding of my dreams. We need more things, so for that we are over in budget.
No tengo más dinero, amor. Lo siento, pero es verdad.
So don't get married, just simple.
With only weeks before their wedding, isn't it nice to see a couple so in love? Yeah, not so much. Luke and Madeleine are a train wreck. And even though they now officially live in the same country, believe you me, nothing is about to change. Remember, money has always been an issue between these two, and despite Luke being in serious debt and now completely broke, Madeleine is still planning an extravagant wedding, one that he has to pay for. So let's rewind to the start and join them with Luke planning a big surprise.
Madeleine and I haven't spoken, so I'm a little nervous about what I'm walking into. At least I don't know if she's still super upset with me.
So after yet another fight between the pair, a fight where Madeleine blocked her fiancé, Luke has decided to show up to Colombia a day earlier than she expects. His aim is to surprise her and hopefully get back in her good books. But the problem is, he's got no idea how she'll react when she sees him. Surely that is a red flag. Surely seeing your fiancé after so long should be cause for celebration. It should be a happy event, right? Well, just you wait. Now, for the time being at least, Madeleine is oblivious and she is just enjoying a day at work.
I make this month 18 millones. Hola. Hola, ma. Hola, mi amor.
Now, let's not forget, Luke is the one that paid for and helped set up Madeleine's business. I guess at least one of his business investments appears to be bringing in some money. But, as we're about to see, sadly, this business isn't going to do much to help Luke financially. Now, while she does her mum's nails, Madeleine begins to tell her mum about her wedding plans.
Y obviamente todo viene desde mi imaginación, desde mis sueños, organizado por mí y hecho realidad por mí. Pues y Luke también ahí ayuda solo pagando, pero...
But it's that part, the paying part, that's become the problem. Luke is in serious debt and now he's just quit his job to move to Colombia. But Madeleine doesn't seem to care, not one iota. Money or no money, broke or not, she wants everything she's ever dreamed of for her wedding. And she won't be letting Luke get in her way.
He always gets crazy and roll when I talking him about money. I hate that. I don't have any time to fighting with him, so I just block him.
Wow, what a solid plan. Instead of talking about the money issues, Madeleine is just burying her head in the sand, ignoring them, and going about as if they don't exist, doing what she wants to anyway. But here's the thing, right? If her salon is doing so well, why can't she contribute to her wedding? Well, that, despite all of Luke's worries, doesn't seem to be an option Madeleine has even considered.
I've given up almost everything. I've quit my job. I'm scared about my money. I'm scared about my investments. And most importantly, my relationship.
Luke is really nervous. He even shares that the last time he surprised a girlfriend by arriving early, he found her cuddled up in bed with her ex-boyfriend. That must have been quite traumatic, and the guy clearly has a bad track record with women. It's no wonder he's so nervous right now. But if he's hoping that Madeleine will be happy to see him, if he's hoping for a tearful reunion, well, he's gonna be in for a big surprise, because when Luke walks into the salon, Madeleine's reaction isn't exactly what you'd hope from the woman you're set to marry in 3 weeks' time.
Oli, ¿cómo estás? You happy I'm here?
No.
Yeah, that is definitely not the response that Luke was hoping for, especially considering they haven't seen each other for so long. But, and this is a good thing, Luke appears to know Madeleine quite well. She might be trying desperately hard to give off the air that she's not interested, that she's moody. But actually, Madeleine is delighted he's here.
Mentirosa.
There you go, that's more like it. That reaction sums Madeleine up quite well, doesn't it? She has this really moody, bratty exterior, but when you scratch the surface, she is also very affectionate towards Luke. Now, when the pair of them are finally left alone after Madeleine finishes with her mum's nails, they take the opportunity to sit quietly and talk, and the first thing Madeleine wants to know is why Luke didn't tell her he was coming early. Luke has to remind her he couldn't. She blocked him. He still can't send her a message. So what was their fight all about? Any guesses? Yeah, of course. Weddings and money.
You remember how you talked to me? That is the reason why they block you. I have so many problems with the wedding, and you just give me problems and fightings and fightings.
I didn't like the way you talk to me. We have so many problems with the wedding, she says. Let me just translate that for you. Translation, she didn't like what he said about the budget for the wedding, so she blocked him so she couldn't hear it. Yeah, the budget has become a big issue. Now, Luke says that he's already paid a lot for the wedding. But, he complains, something isn't quite adding up. The amount I've spent and the amount that's actually been organised doesn't quite tally up.
There are a ton of financial discrepancies that I need to look into, but I don't know who's to blame. The wedding planner or Madeleine.
Now, this is where Luke's story and Madeleine's story diverge. You see, Madeleine has a completely different version of events. Her story, her stance, is that Luke has refused to send the payments they need to finalise their wedding plans. But, Madeleine, why might that be? Could it be, perhaps, that he wants to stick to the budget you agreed on? Oh no. Budget schmudget, says business owner Madeleine.
The point here is Luke promised me the wedding of my dreams. We need more things, so for that we are over in budget.
So despite them being broke, she's not willing to compromise on anything. She just expects Luke to make her dream wedding happen. Now, when they go back to the apartment that Luke, of course, is paying for, as fate would have it, as it would just so happen, Madeleine had already arranged to meet with her wedding planner tonight. The wedding planner that also happens to be her pageant coach and her dress designer too. Red flags, anyone? Has she been using Luke's money that's meant to be for her wedding for her pageants, perhaps? Well, Luke is determined to get to the bottom of where all his money has gone.
We finally agreed on a budget of $12,000. I thought it was paid for. So hearing that there's an outstanding balance is pissing me off.
Luke admits that by American standards at least, $12,000 for a wedding, one that's this lavish, is a bargain. But it is still a lot of money, especially when you don't have a job and you're in lots of debt. The thing is, Luke is convinced that he paid what he agreed. I thought everything was covered, he says, only it appears not.
Every time Madeleine and I talk about the wedding, it's, oh, we're gonna get this, and oh, we're gonna get a helicopter ride for only me. Part of me is frustrated.
Yeah, no kidding, I would be too. Like, spending loads on a wedding is great if you can afford it, but clearly they can't. There has to be a limit. Now, just for my sanity, let's please quickly ignore the fact, or at least move on from the fact, that Madeleine is attacking that Nutella with her fingernail. I mean, I hope Luke wasn't planning to have that with his toast tomorrow morning. But it's at this point that the wedding planner tells them how much their outstanding balance still is.
Es decir, más o menos 12, 13 millones de pesos o $4,000. Entonces, es que si en 2 días no está, pues es cancelar la boda.
That's quite the overspend, isn't it? That's a third of their budget. Luke now has just 2 days to figure out where he's going to get that $4,000, on top of course, the $12,000 that he's already spent. Otherwise, the wedding will be cancelled and presumably the money he's already spent will be lost. So Luke begins to question the wedding planner. What about the payments that I already sent you? He asks. But the wedding planner has no idea what he's talking about. And that's when Luke seems to put 2 and 2 together. That money I sent that was supposed to be for the wedding might have been spent by Madeleine on other things, he says.
She seems to have a track record of me sending money that's supposed to be used for something, and then it gets used for something else, like shopping.
Luke's solution to this? Well, he wants to pull a Gino. He wants to tally up everything that he's spent, all the money that he's paid, so that they can cross-reference it, go back over the accounts, and check whether the funds he's sent so far has actually paid for his wedding. But, again, surprise, surprise, Madeleine has a completely different take on things. Yes, she says, yeah, Luke did send me money, but that money he sent was never meant to pay for the wedding.
You say I don't pay nothing money to her. Mentiroso. He sent me that money for the rent.
Again, keep in mind, Madeleine has a business that seems to be making money. A business that he financed. Like, why can't she pay her own rent? Honestly, why can't she understand that her husband-to-be is struggling? A marriage is meant to be a partnership. If one person is struggling in one area, the other needs to step up. That's what partnership means. You're in it together, right? Like, where exactly is all the money that she's been making going? Why doesn't she contribute to things financially? Either way, like, whatever the truth, Madeleine is now pissed off with Luke for accusing her of using wedding money. This is his own fault, she says. This is him to a T.
That is my biggest problems with him. He never know where he take the money. And later he blamed me like I used badly.
Look, I'm not even sure who to believe at this point. I think there is definitely some truth to what Madeleine's saying here. We can see with our own eyes that Luke is terrible with his money. But I also think she's no better. Truth is, at this point, it doesn't really matter who's at fault. If they want their wedding to happen, then they're going to need to figure something out and figure it out fast.
We clearly miscommunicated about what we paid the wedding planner, but I only have $3,000, and $3,000 goes a long way in Colombia.
Hold on. I thought he was broke, I hear you say. Where's he suddenly just found $3,000 from? Ah, well, I've got a sneaking suspicion that this is linked to what we saw in last week's episode. Remember this?
I know you're struggling with money and that, so I've just got you a little.
Yeah, $3,000 is exactly the amount his dad gave him on that check. Now, given what we saw of his dad, I highly doubt that he intended for that money to be used on yet more wedding expenses. But that's exactly where Luke now plans on using it. But, of course, that still doesn't cover all of their bill. Even if he uses all the money that he has, Madeleine is gonna need to cut back on something, $1,000 worth of something. And learning this, she's really not happy.
No tengo más dinero, amor. Lo siento, pero es verdad.
So don't get married, just simple.
Way to be a supportive partner, Madeleine. Honestly, that's the sort of attitude that would make me at least want to cancel the wedding entirely. That's gratitude for you, isn't it? I mean, here's Luke, right, having moved to another country, having given up his job again, having spent every last cent that he owns, which in itself is absolutely stupid, but the very least he should be getting right now is some form of gratitude. But instead, he's greeted like that. He's greeted as if what he's done still isn't enough. And that, I'm afraid, raises the question, will anything ever be enough for Madeleine? Like today, it's the wedding. She's not satisfied with the wedding, but tomorrow it will be something else. The precedent has been set. I mean, this is how their relationship is. It's not going to change anytime soon. And of course, Madeleine fully believes that it's Luke's responsibility. It's up to Luke to give me everything that I want, exactly what I want.
When it's about make the dreams true, you never get it. You is the one to get responsibilities you don't kinda pay for. So that is your responsibility.
Look, it goes without saying that weddings are stressful, money issues are stressful. They cause couples to fight, right? Of course they do. But why is it that in this case, why does it feel like the wedding is more important to the bride than her actual marriage? Like for Madeleine, her dream wedding seems to be a bigger priority for her than her groom. That, I'm afraid to say, is a terrible omen. Like, if that is indeed the case, then all the money that they've already spent on this wedding, all the money that they're going to continue spending on this wedding, is inevitably going to be wasted. Because if all she cares about is a big party, guess what? Their marriage isn't going to last very long. It's destined to fail, isn't it?